Who knows? Oh, looks like it's starting. Once my stuff starts to work. It looks like the ads are running now, so at least that seems to be working. So, hello everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and we are doing a impromptu Text Quest dev stream on Saturday. Normally, I don't do weekends dev streams. I do work on the weekends, but I don't do dev streams. But since I didn't do one on Friday, I thought it would be nice to do one tonight. Plugins? What the heck? That's weird. So I just thought it would be nice to do something interesting and fun and not too bad to do. So we're going to be looking at changing substance resolutions before we rebuild them. And we're going to be doing other stuff like building out a UI in the options menu to allow you to say, I want my textures to be 1024, I want my textures to be 512, whatever. So we'll be looking at that. And so let's go to level manager, I believe. Go to definition. Yep, right there. Procedural materials. And here we go. Let's see what our variables are here, because I haven't really looked at this, so I'm curious. PM dot animation update rate. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see, cache procedural property, cache size, clear cache color. I think we're going to want to get, let's see, procedural float. Tag, get texture offset, get type, global illumination flags, as property, hide flags. There should be, I would assume, oh, I guess we passed, there's not a resolution. Set procedural texture. Oh, wow. Set texture scale, perhaps? No. Okay, well, we're going to take a look at this on the Unity documentation. And see what we can find. So, documentation. Alright. So let's go to the scripting API. And then procedural material. That's what we want. Alright, let's see what we get here. So we were looking at set procedural. No, what were we looking at? I deleted it. Cannot talk tonight. Let's see, stop rebuilds. Set texture scale, I'm assuming. No, that's inherited. Or maybe not. Let's see. Because we have a rebuild, correct? What is this function? Rebuild textures. But that, I'm guessing, is a static. Oh, no, it's not. Rebuild textures right there. Asynchronous call. Procedural materials, dirty color. Let's see. Set texture scale. Sets the placement scale and texture's property name. Scale x equals. I'm worried that this is just a scale, not an actual resolution. And if that's the case, that's not what we want. We actually want to change the resolution of the texture. Well, while we're doing that, I'm kind of curious. Let's go down here to substances. So a problem I've had before, as I've noticed that my maximum size is 2048, I'd like to see if there is project settings. Let's see, quality editor maybe. Actually, you know what? It's probably player. So project, player. Maybe not. Let's see, resolution, presentations, yada yada yada. No, there should be a maximum texture size, I thought. But that might actually just be on, now that I think about it, that might just be part of the basic texture. So we go to textures here. These are all old textures. Yeah, we can say max size there. And we can go all the way up to 8K. But for some reason on substances, we can't go past 2K. Which isn't really a problem, I just wanted to for fun to try and do 4K capability, but it's not really that necessary. Um, so I guess let's just go back to this then. Let's see. Maybe you can't do that at runtime. That'd be strange, but texture scale, parameters, material. Let's see if we can get render set procedural float range property. So yeah, we don't want to do the set procedural float stuff or any of that. That's just sort of variables on the substance itself. We actually want to see if we can get maybe the or maybe the resolution is a procedural property. Let's see. Hold on. Let me look for Unity substance runtime resolution. See what we can find. Substance dynamic texture size. Let's see. There we go. Output size. Interesting. Okay. So set procedural vector. So we'd be pm dot set procedural vector. Let me give it an input name, which is going to be our. Oops, I hit enter. Let's see. Output size. Correct? Yep. Then a new vector 4. So let's go 10, 10, 10, 10 for the time being. Oh, except that's actually going to be, unless we do that. Generate materials, go to definition. There we go, that's what we want. So I'm going to copy this over. Get rid of the old one. No, not get rid of it, just delete that extra line. And let's see, create materials right there. So we're going to set our size to be 1024. That's what 10 should be, I believe. And let's see what happens if we do that. Does this happen in start, I assume? Yes, it does. Okay. So, if we just play, we should have Alright, apparently I moved my spawn point in here. Okay, so we know that that works. But let's set this to be... where did it go? Instead of 10, let's set it to be 8. So that should be 256, I believe. And if that's the case, we will notice a very, very noticeable blurriness. And if we see that, that means that the changing is working. Let it compile. Hit play. Yes. Yes. You see all the blurry. So, haha! Perfect. All right, so we can so we have dynamic generation, although right now it's hard coded. So let's see, generate materials. Okay, so this is going to be fun. Wow, to make this work, we might end up delving into the depths of my save system. Fun. Well, let's go ahead and go to this. Well, for now, let's just go ahead and say int, or is this a float? These are floats. So we'll say float. Size value equals, we'll say 10 for now, and then we'll just have size value be the variable values here. Save that out. All right, and now we are going to want to go to our session script. All right. Oh, this is going to be tough. Oh, man. So right now, session is just this. It's one of the first things that I wrote. It's actually not one of the first things. It's like one of the middle things that I wrote, and it's using dictionaries, I believe, combined. Yeah, it's just a massive bunch of dictionaries, which is all terrible. And it saves out to XML instead of JSON. I think I'm going to change it over to save out to JSON. But anyway, let's get rid of all this. Let's just say difficulty. Words typed, treasure found. Let's do partial. Public, static. No, you know what? This shouldn't be in session. This should be in settings. Settings. Let's see. Close the asset store. We don't need to go in there. Session utility. Settings utility. Okay. Video. Let's add another field here. So public const string settings text res equals texture resolution. All right. And then of course we'll have to add that. So we'll say video.add settings text. So of course it's not gonna. Ugh, why doesn't it like to play nice? Settings text res, and it is going to be a float new JSON number. We'll just go ahead and say 9. That's because 9 is 512, which should be our sort of default texture size. 1024 would be nice, but I don't know, 1024 is a bit high res for toasters, so I always like to try and have things run as performant as possible. So we'll have it set to be 9. That's all fine. Okay. So supported refresh rates. That's all fine. Where do we do this? Find all references. Oh, good. I don't actually do it anywhere. Oh, good. That means that we're going to instead of doing what I was thinking of doing, I think we're going to end up getting we're going to end up refactoring my save system for a little bit. Well, no, I think we can work with what we have so far to at least get our resolutions working dynamically. So let's see, inventory, load session, all that stuff's fine. Save settings, load settings. Well, I guess we could just do this then. Level manager. Do session.get settings info. Crud. Of course, it's a string. Ugh. Settings utility dot settings text res as the string, and the default value should be 9. suppose. And say toFloat, which is a convenience function that I've written that will just cast a string into a float. And yeah, so let's see if that works. So do all that. Let it load. And actually, before we do that, let's just move this up here. No reason to generate it for each material. We only need to do it once. Let that load again. So by default, nope. Come on, load Unity. This is at 1024. Let's play. It should go to 512. It's a little rough, so that makes sense. Let's pause. I'm curious if it'll say it. I don't know if it will or not. Here. Let's change this back to 8. Or let's go to 7. Make it really, really low res. That way it's very obvious. Let that load. And then we should see a very noticeable blurriness to it. Okay. Yes. There we go. So I think this is at 128. That's what that texture would be. So it just looks terrible. Man, that really distorts very bad if it's that low res. But it's pulling out from session, which is what we wanted. So let's turn this back to 9. Okay, so that took about as long as I expected. So that's the code part of it, or for generating at least. But to actually set it, we're going to need to change a couple of things. So let's close all this. Let it configure. Compile. Save that out. Let's go to our menu scene. Which is probably under test. Menu test. So we're going to have to update our... Oh, really, it's like one of the only ones that I don't have here. Our video menu. Let's see. Options. View video. Pull this under here. Alright, so we're going to open this up. Alright. So, this is how we want it to look. Yeah, that's fine for now. Let's go to content, content grid, go to scroll bar, set our value to be 0. And we are going to need, let's see, I guess, yeah, let's just duplicate the resolution button. Let's move this up above apply. Let's go ahead and move this up to here, I suppose. So we'll move the scroll bar back to be 0 or 1. So instead of resolution button, we're going to call this texture resolution button. Alright. Let's say texture size. We'll just say 1024 by by default, or actually 512 by default. I wonder if I should. Maybe I should go high, medium, low. That might be more understandable. I feel like giving a texture size of 512 is going to confuse people. Um, So let's go. Let's go medium. Maybe I should call this texture quality. I do not like how close those are. Okay. Texture quality. I suppose that's not wrong. I don't know, actually. Let me see. Do I have anything on Steam that I could open up real quick to take a look at its resolution options? The main thing would be the texture resolution and anioscopic filtering, which I need to add that in as well. So, I guess Steam is still opening up. For now, I guess we'll just leave it as texture quality. Or we can go here. Okay. So, nope, I don't have anything installed right now that would be good for it. Go figure. We'll just leave it as is, I suppose. It's a button, that's all fine. Okay. So let me open up this video. Oh, right, I also have shadow distance that jeez. Got a lot of options that I need to add in here. And not a lot of space. They're all very... They're not huge, but there's just not a lot of screen real estate to actually put this stuff on. Alright, let's just get this over with. So we have shadow distance button, which shouldn't really be a button, I don't think. The qualities should be, though. So refresh. Let's do... Actually, you know what? Let's move our texture resolution somewhere else. Let's move it down below. Yeah, basically below everything else. That makes more sense. So that way we'll be grouping things by their topic. So we won't have texture resolution next to our texture quality, next to the resolution, because the resolution should go next to, or the screen resolution should go next to the screen refresh rate, the frame rate, the anti-aliasing, the full screen, the VSync, all that stuff. Then texture quality should go next to probably anioscopic filtering level, which should go next to shadow distance, basically. It's a crapshoot. But it shouldn't be too bad to actually get set up. So, let's see. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Let's see. Frame rate, refresh rate, and shadow distance. Let's move shadow distance below everything else. And we'll say... Oh man, they're all using session utility. Ugh. Is that because I don't have... Yep, go figure. Okay. So let me move shadow distance down here. Let's see. Public const string settings. NCO. level. And let me check real quick. Oh, look at that. It's just called NCO level. I think it can go up to 16. Yeah. Okay. NCO level. I guess I can get rid of level. Just say NCO. Okay. Why don't I rename these to be a little more explicit? So audio, volume music, rename. Let's call this audio. Let's rename this. Video. I like to try and keep things in order. So since these are all under their settings utility, it makes sense to rename these so it's settings utility .video .audio or whatever. It makes it very quick and easy to access. As opposed to having everything just start with settings, which is confusing. Video. 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 Rename. Video. And the reason I'm doing the rename as opposed to just renaming it directly is anything that would be using it will also get renamed if I use the rename command. Just a nice convenience thing. We'll leave everything else as is. Okay. So, that would explain why none of my settings were being kept, because I was having these look at different things. So we have video vsync. Just replace everything here. Gotta break my functionality out more. And this is what happens when you code stuff as a young programmer who has no idea what he's doing. You get bad stuff. Video resolution width. Resolution height. Frame rate. Refresh rate. Anti-aliasing. By default I turn that off. Full screen, by default I turn that on. Video shadow distance. And then, no, it's not even the right thing. So this would be video text res. And let's go ahead and copy this over. Do one more. NCO. We'll say 0, I guess. Or is it 1? It could go all the way to 0. So we'll say NCO. We'll just keep it as NCO. It doesn't really matter. Alright. And by default, that is that. Okay. So, get all that. Let's move our cached shadow distance down to here. Go up here. Shadow distance. Oh, I know what I was doing before. I was trying to group numbers together, but it makes more sense to group everything by theme. So private. Was it a float? I suppose. Cached. Yeah, no, it should be a float. Set that to be 512. Hit F, and then private float cached NCO equals, we'll just say 0. These all get written at whenever the menu's opened up anyway, but I like to declare them just in case. So we have resolution buttons, that's all fine. Let's see. Anti-aliasing, let's move this shadow distance button down to where it should go. And then we'll have public button, texture quality button, public button. Yeah, you know what? No. Slider. Ancio. Slider. Public. Input field. Ancio input. So we'll have a slider for Ancio level, because it can't go above 16 and it can't go below 0. So might as well make it a slider. We'll do a similar thing to shadow distance later, but we might not do that tonight. But we'll at least get Ancio and texture quality working. So all that stuff. Cached Ancio equals Ancio, and cached text quality equals texture quality. Alright, we got all the labels too. Ah, man. This is becoming a very, very massive field. I don't like having massive inspectors. But I'm kind of stuck with it, I think. Well, anyway. So let's see, where's the text? Full screen, vsync. Okay. So public text. Texture quality label. Public. It's supposed to be input field. No. That's all fine. Okay. And do I want one first? No, it's fine. So that's all fine. Let's go. Full screen vsync equals. All right. So let me think. This is going to be fun. Switch. This is why I wanted to just do a number, but it's probably going to have to be. So let's see. Switch. Texture quality. Except that's going to be. Wait, what? Ah, that's what it was. Cached text quality. And case. Let's see, text quality is a float, correct? Yep. So 9 is 5. So we'll go to, 9 will be the lowest that you can go. Break. Then we'll also go. Really? Char string into. Huh. Really? It doesn't work with floats? That makes no sense. It can work with everything but floats. Weird. Huh. Fine. I guess 2 string. Just do the string representations. That's really weird. Um, okay. So then we'll have texture quality label dot text equals say low. Copy this. If it's 10, which is 1024, call that medium. If it's 11, which would be wait, hold on. Now I guess we'll just be doing that then. Break, and then case, and then default. Go to case 10. High. So low is 512. 512. Medium is 1024. And high is 248. So 2K. And if it's none of those, then it'll automatically just go to the default case 10. Okay. So supported refreshments, blah, 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 blah. Close. Save settings. Submit. All that stuff's fine. Okay. So this is going to be fun. Move this. Texture quality equals cached texture quality. NCO equals cached NCO. This is just canceling everything out. That way everything gets set up properly. Update settings. All that's correct. Okay. So I won't really need to, or do I? Hold on. Dot. No. Or was I being stupid this entire time? I was calling Aniso. Why was I saying Ancio the entire time? Equals dot and set for each texture. Force enable, I suppose, will be fine. Then we'd have quality settings dot and really? Can I not set the level? Let's go to quality settings on the documentation. So save. It's all fine, I think. Let's go to settings utility. Rename Aniso. Huh. I always thought it was Anzio, but nope, Aniso. Go figure. Let's see. Scripting API. Let's go to quality settings. Filtering. Ha! Well, look at that. Isn't that nice? It just tells me exactly what it is, not what it does. Interesting. So you can force enable it, but you can't tell it what level to use. That's not annoying at all now, is it? There has to be some other way of doing it. Let's see. Let's go to quality settings. What else can we get? Is there a texture size? No. I want to increase level. That's all. That's worthless. String, instantiate, yada yada yada. Huh! Are you kidding me? There's got to be a different... Here, I look for Aniso. See what we get. Filtering, force enable, texture.anco level. Atlas settings, quality settings, texture importer, physics material. Wow, really? Huh. So it's a per basis. Usually use it on floor, ground, or road textures to make them look better. The value range for this variable goes from 1 to 9, where 1 equals no filtering and 9 equals full filtering applied. As the value gets bigger, the texture is clearer at shallow angles. Lower values mean the texture will be more blurry at shallower angles. Yes. But is there no way to actually adjust it at runtime? That's very, very odd. Maybe it just maxes it out whenever you force enable. That'd be dumb, but I guess I wouldn't put it past them to do that. Because the entire thing is it goes... okay. Well, we'll just try it, see what happens. Alright, so we have a texture quality button. Let's duplicate this. This is going to be interesting. So, it's going to be a Aniso level. And it's not going to be a button. It's going to actually be... Let's remove this component. Let's remove this. Remove this. This is actually going to be Aniso. I will say filter. Oof. Don't like calling it that. But, let's see. Set it to be 0 by default. Hit save. And so our value is going to need to change. So let's go ahead and say add UI slider. Move this up. It's going to be fun. So where's our value? Pivot of 0.55 in the X. 0. What? Of course it did 0.055. There we go. That's what I was hoping for. And let's give it an X of 0.8. I want to say that's probably plenty. Yeah, it's plenty. Alright. So, Aniso slider. Hello, None Superior. It's going alright. Figured I'd do a little impromptu Saturday dev streaming, since I didn't do anything yesterday. Well, I didn't stream yesterday. And I thought it would be interesting to do texture generate... Well, not... I'm just contradicting everything tonight. Basically, I'm working on getting substances to regenerate at different resolutions at runtime. So that way I can have a little option in the options menu saying, like, what do you want your texture quality to be? Medium, low, or high? So low would be 512 textures, medium would be 1024, and high would be 248. Or 2048. So the Handmade Con stream just ended. I think I heard about that. What was that about? I'm assuming it has something to do with handmade stuff. But well, then again, if it's a stream, it would have to be. I'm curious. Yeah, what was that about? I tend to be out of the loop when it comes to stuff like that. Let's go to UI, input field, and we'll say NCO input. We'll change our scaling, have it stretch all the way out. Have this go to I did 0.8, I believe. Handmade Hero Convention that Casey Murd held today in Seattle. Huh! Interesting. Well, alright then. Ah, crap. Hold up. So NCO input. Let me get this. And let's go to solid. It's not fill center. And we will, let's get rid of our placeholder. Was it any, how was the stream? Was it any good? No placeholder, let's make a gray graphic. And set our text to be 0. 8-bit font, of course. Let's make it white. 24, I'm guessing. No. 48, wow. Let's try 32. Huh. I don't think 48 is going to work, yeah. The emails to Sleepy House software keep bouncing back. Really? What's it saying? I haven't had that problem before. Well, I will have to look into that then after the stream. That's kind of odd. Oh, and Jonathan Blow is there. That's cool. Yeah, I guess the Witness is coming out soon, isn't it? Which I'm not sure. Probably get it. But it's been in development for so long, and I haven't really seen any updates on it. He's played it really. Oh, really? I didn't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even think to check Twitch messages. Well, I will. I'll check that out in a sec. Actually, no. I'm curious. Oh, it says I don't have any inboxes. Oh no, there it is. Huh. Well, it doesn't. Huh? It doesn't email me when it does when I get a message. That's kind of annoying. I should look into that. Interesting. All right. Well, I will take a look at that and see why it's doing that. Well, thanks for letting me know. That's a very odd problem. All right. That might be how I have to do with how I'm doing the web hosting, because I'm doing a web hosting through Amazon, Amazon static web hosting stuff, because it's kind of like a thrown together solution. But yeah, that's kind of odd. So I'll take a look at that tonight, since I'm actually right before the stream started. I was doing a lot of web dev stuff. So yeah, that'll be good for me to look at. Let's see, NCL level. Let's make this 0.85, and that's fine as it is right there. So let's go ahead and we'll leave the number there. So next we can delete this, change our ANSI slider. This is always so much fun because I hate the way that Unity generates its stupid sliders. Change our handle. No, the handle's fine. I lied. Let's see. Background. Background needs to change to be our solid color with nothing in the back. Let's set our fill area. Actually, you know what? This should be 0 and 1. So this will stretch it a bit. Fill area should be 0 and 1 as well. So you're going to see some, yeah, AWS is what I use. Because it's easy to get stuff up there without having to set up your own sort of server to host everything. And it's pretty cheap. So we keep the fill there. We do the fill area, keep that as is. Fill slide area, I think. Hold on. I zero everything out, and then I got to put everything back together, basically. So change our knob to be our solid color. And then that should be everything, I think. Change our fill to be a solid color as well. And change our fill color to be, I don't know. Well, do we want it to be a fill color? Probably don't need that, actually. But, I'll do it anyway. We'll do, like, blue for the time being. Okay, so we get all that. And everything should be up to date with that. So if we slide this, let's change our values. Yeah, so there we go. Fill area. Slide this around again. So the trick here is that by zeroing everything out, you'll see that the slider is too large for the edge, or for the background. So we actually have to shrink our fill area down a little bit. So we want to say from the left 5. It's probably 4 actually. That's going to mean 4, 4, 4. So now when we slide this around, it's not going to cover those edges. It looks a lot better. And then our handle slide area needs to be -10 and -10, I want to say. So if we slide this around, it should actually stop. Oops, no. Oh, got that backwards. 10 and 10, I think. So it should stop in the correct place. You've done the Google equivalent Twitter Bootstrap. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, web development itself isn't terrible. It's just getting things to work in even a slightly advanced fashion is terrible. And trying to do, yeah, so we'll do whole numbers. That's all fine. And I hate having to import massive libraries if you want to do anything with jQuery or with an advanced JavaScript feature. It's a nightmare. But, everyone has to have a website and all that crap. So, who knows? So let's go to... It's actually pretty good. Although I will change my handle color to a slightly dark gray, I think. So that way when it's all the way... Oops, wrong thing. Fancy a slider. That way when it's all the way at 0, you can tell that it's supposed to be pulled over. We might set 8 as our default value, though. That way people can see it a little easier. Let's go to our slider. All that stuff should be fine, I think. Fade duration, I like to do 0.2 instead of 0.1. Love the retro look UI using modern tools. Yeah. It's actually more of a headache than you'd think, because the text is so blocky and big that it makes it hard to see everything. Let's see. Here we are. Text should be 0. Character limit should be 2. Let's see, and we can do validation. So content type, integer number. Right? Yep. We'll do integer number. So that way people can't type like ABSD into that stuff. It's always going to be between 0 and 9. Hide mobile input, no, all that stuff's fine. Fade duration, don't really have fade duration. It is interactable, but I don't... That's weird. We'll leave it as is, I suppose. And that should be good for the UI layout for it. But we're going to have to set this up with scripting first before it actually does anything. Which is going to be so much fun. Let's see, on submit. All that stuff's fine. Update settings. That's really weird. Crap. So, I think for the time being I'm going to do this. Enter aniso greater than 0. Otherwise, anisotropic filtering dot disable, I suppose. Just until I can figure out how to set the actual aniso level. instead of just saying force enable. There has to be a way to set the actual value, but for the time being. So we have show resolutions, hide resolutions, on apply clicked, blah, 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 blah. On frame rate, on anti-aliasing, full screen, VSync. Here we go. Let's get rid of this. Let's do private void on texture, if I could spell texture, quality clicked. This is going to be fun. Switch texture quality dot to string, I suppose, because it has to have a string value for some reason. Case, we're just going to move everything. We're going to copy what we had up here. Let's copy this. Move this to be right there. And so we got all that stuff. Let's go ahead and say texture quality equals, and it's going to be float, so we will say 1024F. Yep. Let's copy this over. And this is going to be 2048. This is going to be 512F. And we will change this to be low, this to be high, this to be medium. Okay, so there's the texture quality portion taken care of. Next, we're going to want to do our slider, which is going to be... Actually, not just the slider, we have to take into account the input field. So when you're doing option menus, if you have a slider, you need to make sure that you have a field, a number field, that is actually... that you can input the value directly into. Because if you only have a slider, people can sometimes get frustrated trying to do specific numbers. So it's important that you have both a slider and a number field that you can actually adjust. Hello, Beastly Bro. You should get some background music. You mean for the stream or for the game? Because that could apply to either, honestly. And if it's the case of the game, yeah, I know. I need to get a composer. And if it's for the stream, I have no idea what I would play. Especially since I tend not to talk very loud. I'm pretty sure that most of the time, half of the things I say are just muttering. So let's see. We have private void, not private, private void on an ISO slider changed. Ugh, can't spell changed even. It's going to be a float value. How about a train? How does that work? Oh yeah, you guys could hear that. I live very close to the train tracks. Actually, I could probably walk outside and it would take 20 seconds, I think, well, maybe 30 seconds to walk over to the train tracks. They're really close. Yeah. Well, I guess what would be good background streaming music? Because I mean, I have to talk over everything. I guess I could look into a setup that it quiets the music whenever I talk, but I have no idea how to do that. All right. So we want to do. We're going to be changing our ANSI level whenever we do the slider. So we're going to say an ISO. Oh, really? Hold on. Go all the way up to the top here. Wow, this is a massive script. It's not complicated, it's just a lot of duplicate code for separate things, basically. Let's see, text. Async, full screen, texture quality. Oh, right, input field. Let me rename this, because it's got to be an ISO, not ANSIO. Rename. Not insert. ISO slider. Or just lower the music so the mic is louder, I guess. What kind of music would I do though? I'm not I'm not a very musical type of guy. I've never really had any strong music tastes, and I've never been particularly up to date with the music scene. Also, I admittedly don't know what would get me in trouble with Twitch, because I don't know if you can. Can you stream music in the background? Because I know that people do it, but I've also heard that Twitch will sometimes get pretty mad about it, especially since this stuff would be archived to YouTube later. So if using music will just get all of the audio shut off of my videos, that would be kind of pointless. At least I worry about that sort of thing. So anyway, so we have aniso input dot text equals value dot toString. We'll just do 0 inside of quotes. And for those of you who are doing programming and you're doing conversions from floats to strings, typing toString and then quotes around a 0 will make a float appear only as a whole number, which is very, very nice. And you can go further to say like 0.00 will mean if I debugged that, it would, or if I showed that in the text object, it would actually say whatever 0.00, so 2 decimal places in. It's actually pretty nice. But I just need the whole 0. Yeah, they will flag content if it's copywritten. Yeah, they would definitely mute the archived version or the archive stuff. YouTube's really bad about it, so since that stuff gets exported out to YouTube for archiving, it would just be like, oh, look at that music, no sound. Yeah, I save or I archive them just in case people want to come back or they want to listen to my sultry smooth voice at work one day, which I'm pretty sure no one does, but Also, I occasionally like to go back and look at them, and I'm like, oh, that was embarrassing. I don't know what I was doing. So it's good for future purposes, just looking back and laughing. So that's all fine, I think. And ancio equals value. I think that's all we would need to do, actually. Okay, and then we're going to have private void on ancio or aniso on aniso input changed, and that's going to be a string value. We're going to say case, oh wait, sorry, not case, switch value. And we're going to pull this basically again. Except, okay, hold on, let me think. Don't actually care about this value, now that I think about it. Yeah, I mean, I figure I'm probably good white noise. So, we don't actually care about the value, we just want to make sure that, so float, f value equals value.toFloat. And again, toFloat is just something I wrote that changes a string into a float for me. See, I do that too. I've always pronounced it ancio too, but it's aniso. I always thought it was ancio, but not. Nope, it's aniso. So I've been saying it wrong. I was actually saying it wrong at the start of the stream. Anyway, so we're going to say float.clamp. No, I'm saying not float. It's going to be mathf.clamp f value. Oh, come on. F value minimum of 0 f and a maximum of 16 f. Okay. Is ancio really a float? Yeah, it is. Wonder if that's good. Well, anyway, because I think it's actually, we want it to be an int, but it's fine. So we're clamping it between 0 and 16. So if it's over 16, it's going to get clamped down to 16. If it's under 16, it's going to get clamped up to, or if it's under 0, it's going to get clamped up to 0. And then we're going to say slider, Aniso slider dot value equals f value. Then Aniso equals f value. Okay, and I think that's everything that we would need, basically. So, okay. So now we go all the way down to, not all the way down, I guess, all the way to awake, and we're going to say, let's see, so texture quality, crap, did that wrong. Texture quality, come on. Texture quality button dot on click dot add listener on texture quality clicked. Then Aniso slider dot on value changed dot add listener on Aniso slider changed, and then Aniso input dot on submit dot add listener. Really? That's not right. What is it? On end edit. There we go. Dot add listener on Aniso's input changed. Okay. So we've got all that. Now we just need to hook it up inside Unity. But yeah, see, it's Aniso level. So weird. I always thought it was Ancio. So that's gonna go crazy for a second. Or not, apparently. Oh wait, I almost forgot. Did I say? Okay, no, I did actually do all that. Good. So, okay. So we have texture quality button right there. Aniso slider, Aniso input, shadow distance button, which we don't have. We don't need it yet. And then texture quality label is there. Let's disable this. Let's hit apply. Turn this off. Let's hit save, and we're going to go back to our... we'll go to splash fade so that everything loads properly at least. So that fade in. Everything's in there. Start. Go to options. Video. Okay. So this should go to high now. Uh-oh. Interesting. So let's stop that. Means our script is wrong somehow. On texture quality clicked. Oh. That's why. So this should be 10. Is texture quality afloat? It is. I was being stupid. 11 and then 9. That's why I was doing it. Okay, let's try that again. Nice cursor. Thank you. That actually took a lot of, sort of a lot of work to do. It's not actually like the hardware cursor. I have a separate object inside of Unity that's keeping track of the mouse cursor, and then it's moving with it. And originally I was just going to have the hardware cursor and swap out the sprite that was used for it, but I changed it so that it would follow it, that's why it has a very slight delay. It's not terribly noticeable, especially if you have a high refresh rate like I do on my monitor. But if I Control-Shift-P, so you can actually see the object right there. And click on it. And all it does is it just tracks the mouse position of the for the actual mouse, and it'll snap to it. And the reason I did that is so later on... Oh, that was weird. later on, I already have the ability to swap out the color for the text in the game. So right now it defaults to white. But if you play through the game once, you'll unlock the ability to change the color. So you can say, I want to play with green stuff, or I want to play with blue text, or purple text, or whatever. And then everything will update. So all of this would be in like green if you wanted it to be green, and the cursor will change with that too. So because of that functionality, I had to basically make an entirely new cursor system. It's actually not bad. It just involves so medium, high, low, medium, high, low. Good. So let's go to high. Let's keep it like that. So when we come, if we start playing the game, we should actually be able to see 2048 textures when we load in there. ANSI filtering all the way to 16, all the way to 0. That's good. Nice. So that slides, it clamps. Let's change this to, let's say 10. Good. 0. Good. 16. Good. 8. I'm sorry. Let me try 80. 88 works too. Ah! Good. And... oh, I can't hit negative. That's good too. So I can't go to, like, so if I do 60. Yay, it clamps to 16. Hooray. Okay, so that's all there. Then if we hit apply... so we should be able to say back. Let's do new game. Chris. Yes. Normal mode. Right-handed. Green. And yes. Yes. Oh, I gotta work on the mini game for loading screens because it's terrible right now. But I need to figure out a good design for it. Kind of tempted to do like a House of the Dead style thing. You can set a custom cursor sprite in the player settings. Yeah, that's what I originally did, actually. But if I did that, so now we should be able to go over here and see, like, just massive high quality, which it looks like. Yay! So we got all that working. Nice. Oh, our anti-aliasing is pretty terrible, or non-existent. That's probably by default, though. But, hello, Scorpion Illuminati. It is kind of like Zork. That's very much what it's based off of. Or inspired by would be the correct way of saying that. So it's a first-person text-based adventure. Everything's text. Yeah, it looks like our anti-aliasing isn't turned on, I'm assuming. Yeah, because you can see the aliasing going on. But yeah, oh, that was weird. Let's see. Because if you go to edit project settings, then player, you can actually say default cursor, and you can just select a texture 2D. That'll change the cursor itself. So the hardware cursor will always be whatever you set it to be. Scorpion Illuminati, will it have grooves? Yes, yes, it will have grooves. It already does have grooves, and they will eat you if you go into a dark area without a light. So let's go back to test menu test, and let's turn on our video. So while we're at it, since we're already in this menu, there are a couple of small things I need to do. One, let's see, set that to 0, and I got to make sure that I remember to set this back to 1 when I'm done. Scroll bar is fine. NISO level, the NISO input, instead of being 0, needs to be 8 by default, because that's what it is when it boots up. And actually, I should go into here and say refresh rate, show resolutions, update, cancel. Where's my open? Ah, there it is. I forgot to set this. So we want to say aniso input.text equals aniso.toString, 0 inside quotes, and Niso slider dot value equals Niso. There we go. So that'll snap all those things at the beginning. Will it have the famous line, "You have been eaten by a grue"? Yes, it will. If you go into the dark without a light, it will say, "It is dark. You are likely to be eaten by a grue." And if you continue going into the dark, it will say, "You have been eaten by a grue." So you need to make sure that you are in the light when you go into mysterious caves and all of that. So let me see. Let me take a look. We could also add a thing for shadow distance here. I might turn this into the night for my options menu, basically, because we got the texture generation stuff working. Let's turn off our root. Let's apply this. Let's hit save. Actually, let's go back to splash fade. We'll go through again. You want to play it? You can play the demo right now, actually, on the website. It's a little bit of an older demo from earlier this year, but it gets the concept across. Let me grab the URL. Anyway, so let's go to options, video. Let's make sure that that all came out right. So, oh, really? Go to 0 by default. That's interesting. Oh no, that's actually correct. Hold on. Let me go up here. Anzio. There we go. Change that to be 8. And 8 by default. Let's see. Everything else should be fine. Texture quality should not be 100, actually. That should be 10. There we go. Alright. Oh, excuse me. Alright, let that compile. Of course, it closed all of my folders again. Ugh, I hate it when it does that. Alright. Get that on there. Start. Options. Video. Scroll down. Quality medium, high, low, medium. We'll go to low. That way we can obviously see it. So yeah, this generated properly, so it's at 8 by default. Let's go ahead and, I guess, bump it up to 16. It's not going to matter, actually. It's just not going to do anything. Then we can hit apply at least. So let's go back. Let's go to continue. So this should pull me back into the castle. And then all of our wall texture should be lower res. So this is at 512, and it is lower res. It's a little hard to see, but it is. It's a lot blurrier than the 2048 textures were. So I'm assuming the stream it's harder to see. In person, it's actually very easy to notice it, but since my stream is already limited to like 720p, which I really should look into getting to 1024 or 1080p. You all deserve the best stream that I can do. Or at least the best streaming quality. Okay. So, is Anzio working? I mean, it looks like it is. Doesn't seem like there's any blurring on the textures. So, okay. Oh, really? That's interesting. Let me go to TextQuest, Substance, Castle, Throne Room. Then let's just do Castle Pillar. Okay, never mind. I thought for a second that it was actually having to re-import all of our textures, or all of our substances whenever we did that. Oh, well, thank you for hosting, Scorpion Illuminati. That's cool. I have not had very many people host me. Actually, I think last stream was the first time anyone hosted me, which was really cool. But thank you. So let's go back to scenes, test, and then menu test again. Let's open up the rest of our menu. So we're going to add a field for shadow distance, which I don't know if there's a limit on how far you can actually render shadows. Quality settings, shadow distance. Nope, I guess there's not really a distance limit. I don't know what the best way to do shadows distance would be, because it's an integer, I believe. No, it's a float. Sorry, but there's no real upper limit. In theory, you could have shadows rendering out 10 million miles away. Probably wouldn't want that. I probably should just do like let me see if there's other shadow settings that I can do. Shadow cascades. Shadow near plane offset, shadow projection. No. Not really shadow quality? That's interesting. Actually, I bet that's what shadow cascades is. Now let me check. Now right there, switch to manual. See if there's anything special I can do. You're doing a rhythm game for the Sega Genesis? Really? Wow. Going really far back. Any particular reason that you want to do it for the Sega Genesis? I guess actually the Sega system, or the Sega systems have a very odd fan base around developing games for them. Because I know that the Dreamcast has games being made for it too. Real-time reflection probe, shadows. Here we go. Well, this is at real time probably, which I don't have any real-time shadows. So, shadow projection. It's fine. That is true. My Zort game goes all the way back to the 80s. That's true. And I guess 70s if you want to get into Colossal Cave. But that is true. That's cool. What are the limitations for that? That has to be pretty hard to try and fit everything on there. Because it's not like they had massive files that you could really put on a Sega Genesis. Then again, I don't know if that's because of the Genesis itself couldn't handle it, if it was just the format at the time. So, no, anti-aliasing, that's all fine. So, I guess we're not going to get too advanced with our quality settings. I think I've basically done everything that I can except for shadows. So we'll just add a thing for shadow distance. By default, I don't know what I have it set to. Let's go to project settings, quality. I have shadow distance set to be 120, and that's probably on the higher end. I think by default it's like 40, and 40 meters is not very much. I can tell you that. So it's tough. I don't have very many stages that go past like 100. So we could make low 40. Ugh, don't want to do that though, but I guess I have to. So let's see, texture quality, shadow distance. Let's go ahead and say, let's do 50, 100, and 150. I think that'll give us a good range. So we'll say 100 is fine there because that would be the middle. So let's go all the way up here, and we will have a button, which I think it already is actually, shadow distance button. There we go. And let's go down here. Anti-aliasing full screen on ANSI or NISO. Let's do private void on shadow clicked. Switch. Not that. Switch. Shadow distance dot to float, or not to float, it's already a float. To string, because for some reason it has to be a freaking string. And then we'll do case 50 break. So we'll have, I need to add a label for it, I think. UI, text. There we go. Public text shadow distance, not dot label, label. Scroll back down. Shadow, not shadow. Although that did make me want to play Beautiful Joe. Because the evil organization in Beautiful Joe was Shadow. Bunch of movie villains. Dot text equals not 100. Medium. Then shadow distance equals not cast shadow distance. Equals 100. F. Alright, so now we'll copy this over. Default. Go to case 100. 100. Then 150, I think will be good. High. 150F. Low. 50F. Okay. So that all should be fine. And the last thing we need to do is just say shadow distance button dot on click dot add listener on shadow clicked. And there we go. So script wise, that's done. But we still need to add our actual button. So let's go ahead and grab quality. What's happening? Unity has to think. Alright, so let's move this up to there. Oh, no, that's fine. I'm trying to think of good placement order. Let's go to shadow distance button. I'm trying to think what these settings are called, because it's distance, it's not shadow distance. I don't know if it would be like low, medium, far, or if it's like close. I guess I can just do low, medium, high. That's fine. I think I'm going to move this above texture quality, just so that it keeps things nice and organized. Do I have anything else that I need to do? First of all, I do need to hook this up. Second, I do need to hook the value label up. But aside from that, I think we're done with that. So we can turn this off. Let's hit apply. Hit save. Okay. And next, let's go to save resolutions. Apply. Hide resolutions, show resolutions. Here we go. This equals shadow distance, and that's pretty much it. Let's see. Need a drink. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done code-wise to that. Save that. And other slash fade. Probably should actually... hold on. Yeah, we'll just go through and make sure that that's set up at least. Start. Options. Video. Move this. So we get medium, high, low. So low, medium, high. Okay, good. Medium. Okay. Set our texture quality to be high. Our shadow distance to be high. And let's go ahead and turn anti-aliasing all the way up to 8. Trying to see if that had any impact. Nope. I will also turn up my frame rate to 120, which, God, that makes it so much. Actually, I should be streaming it at 60 frames per second. My microphone is moving away from my mouse. I should be streaming at 60 frames per second, and this frame rate actually will affect the frame rate. So right now it's at 30, and you should notice very, very obvious slowdown or sort of smoothing, blurring from the cursor moving around. And then when I go up to 60, it just feels so much better. I'm going to go to 120, because I actually have a 120 hertz monitor for my main monitor, and that just makes everything a lot smoother. It also serves as a nice performance test, because I want to try and make sure that I can actually run everything very well. Because if I can run it, then most people can run it. Well, actually, that's not true, because I have a pretty beastly computer now. So, but it's still good to make sure that I don't have any huge performance issues. Zizzy and Plu aren't cheats. Zizzy should be in there. They're not cheats, but Zizzy should at least get a response from you, even if it's kind of lazy right now. I couldn't think of anything else other than amazing, but it's in there. And yeah, Plu probably should be too. I think that's everything else. So if we just hit apply, I'm going to go back, make sure that everything's saved. So 120, that's all correct, times 8. VSync should be on. Does it not save VSync? Oh, it does. I must have turned it off. Okay. Shadow distance, high. And NCO is 8. Nice. Okay, good. Oh, except shadow I haven't set, so that's just being cached from Unity itself. So let's hit apply. Let's go back. Let's hit continue again. Should pull us into the castle. Should be fine. Once it's done loading, God, that's really, really terrible loading time. Then again, it is doing 2048 textures, so that's gonna bump up the loading time quite a bit, which is not good. But even on the stream, I think you should be able to see at least some marginal improvement in the quality of the textures. Like, it is very, very good. Rendering at 2048 feels very, very nice. Or it looks very, very nice. Shadows, I'm probably not going to get any shadows from here, honestly. It's too small, I think. But then again, I am also rendering them at high. So, but it seems like everything's working, all the quality settings. I'll have to look into doing anisotropic filtering, like setting the value manually. I thought you could do that. Because you can do it in the textures themselves, so I would assume that there's a way to do it. But, yeah, I could probably do a screenshot. It'd just be really, really hard to. I'll put I think I'll post a screenshot after the. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'll do it right here. So we go to scenes, intro. Let's go to castle quarters. Because I can take screenshots, but we will go ahead and say castle quarters. Here's my spawn points. Start spawn point. Okay. Set this to be 180 degrees. 180. And let's just move it to be really close to our wall. Put it here. So I will try I should be facing the wall when I spawn in. Okay. So I will do a sort of side-by-side comparison screenshot. I will post that to Twitter after the stream. Although, let me move it 1 unit closer, I think. And then let me see how well that looks. Okay, that's better. Although, actually, I should probably get... I want to get the pillar, like, be divided. Okay, so that should be a little bit better. And then I can go ahead and do text request, scenes, other, splash fade. Let's save. Let's go from the beginning. I'm going to go through this twice real quick to get the different resolution settings. Because I don't think... I do need to do that, actually. Oh, that's terrible. Ah, crap. Okay. So actually... if I'm going to... So, options, video. So, if I'm going to do a good video options menu, I actually need to have something in the background so that you can see what the changes are doing. Oh, interesting. Our frame rate did not save. Oh, right, because I started playing again. This stuff doesn't save for some reason. Let's up this to 8. Up that to 120. VSync is on. Shadow distance. Let's do texture quality high. NCO filtering. That's all fine. Let's hit apply. Let's go back. Let's just hit continue. So yeah, I'm actually going to have to refactor how the video screen works. That's going to be interesting. Because I've deliberately avoided trying to do sort of like Half-Life 2 menus where you have stuff going on in the background. Because I wanted to evoke that, Zork feeling. But to have a good video setting... Okay, so let's go ahead and hit F12. What the heck? F12, that's interesting. That's weird. Did it not take a screenshot? Hold on. Player... Oh no, it's hero, I think. Huh. I guess I didn't attach the screenshot tool to this. Interesting. Screenshot tool. Okay. Well, we'll keep that then. Apply. And let's output at 4K, because I love having absurdly large images. So, let's apply that. Delete that. So I gotta do that again real quick, because I was stupid. Skip all this. Oh, and actually, I'm kind of curious if you guys can figure this out, since we have a couple of people who have been watching and I'm sure can do it. Was that sector I saw? Yes! I do have some sector in here. I haven't used it fully yet. I've only used it to do some culling, but I'm planning on using it a lot more. I just haven't gotten very far. And I'll talk about this in a second, actually. So, start, options, video, and 120, anti-aliasing times 8, VSync on. Texture quality high, everything else is fine. Hit apply. Let's go back and hit continue. Yeah, I am using Sector though. It's really cool. It really is. It makes culling stuff very easy. I want to try and use their audio tools for volume. Or was it? It wasn't volumetric. It was volumetric audio. It was a very interesting way of doing audio based on the surface of an area. Ah, you saw 1979 mode, did you? Going exploring through the extras, huh? No, there are no cheats to turn that on. Not yet, anyway. Okay, so if we hit F12, there we go. See, that's actually what I needed to use it for. I need to use it for running water. Because there are a couple of segments with large bodies of running water, and you can't just use spherical audio stuff for that. It sounds stupid. So start, options, video, times 8, vsync on, set this to low. Then hit apply, then back, and continue. So, oh, I should be timing these loadings to see how long it takes. Okay, so let me do a screenshot of that, which I'm actually kind of curious. You might have to just get really close to see any difference, really, which is kind of bad, but eh. Are we going to load? Or is it not wanting to do that? We took our screenshots. There we go. It's importing now. So any way to pre-order this? No, not yet. It's been greenlit on Steam, and I need to set up that page for it. But I was waiting until I had a little bit more done on it before I put anything up for pre-order. So if I'm going to do pre-orders at all, I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt. But yeah, for now, there's no way to pre-order it. But as we get closer to release, I'm sure I'll put more stuff out that'll say, like, if you want to get it or if you want to pre-order it, go here, do all this. But for now, you just kind of got to stick with the demo, I guess. Okay. Oh, I got clamped. That's interesting. You can beta test it for me. That will be very good, actually. As I get closer to release, I'm going to need to do a lot of beta testing because I can do, well, not most. I can do probably about 25% of the testing myself, but the main problem comes from the parser and having people input their own sort of way of doing syntax, and I need to make sure that all or most cases of syntax are understandable to the parser. So yeah, as I get closer to release, I'll actually start doing beta tests with people. So people who are interested, I'll talk to them and be like, "Oh, you want to be a beta tester? And here, send me all the feedback that you can." So, before we go on to the next thing, I have a bit of trivia for you all, and because I like to have fun little trivia moments for the stream. If I can find where I'm supposed to be going. Art. Here we go. UI, logos. So, can you put me on the list meanwhile? I actually don't have a list. I need to make one. Yeah, I will actually... you know what? I won't do it now because it's on the stream, but I'm going to get a email list put together. So if you want to get on like an email list, then you can just fill out a quick form. So if you come back, if you can come back to the next stream, I will have it by then. Is that all right with you, Scorpio and Illuminati? I'm not sure if you're planning on coming back to the next stream or not. But yeah, I need to get a form actually filled out. That way I can get all the information, the appropriate information, and get people on the lists that they want, all that. Anyway, so fun bit of trivia. The team members that are, well, not team members. Actually, you know what, it'll be easier to do this. Let's go to scenes, test. Menu test, UI. Really, don't have it. Interesting. View fade. Splash, I bet is what it is, actually. View splash. Yeah, sorry, busy playing the demo. That's fine. So fun bit of trivia. Well, actually, it's more of a question, a riddle for you guys. I'd like to see if you guys can figure it out. I'll tell you the answer later, if you don't. But the logo for the team working on the game, which is just me, but I like to have team names, is called Team Advent. So I'm curious if you guys can figure out what the name came from, Team Advent, and why the colors are chosen as they are. This is just, I want to try and do a little trick or trivia for you guys. So if you have the time, I would suggest trying to figure this out. It's a little obscure, just because I'm kind of crazy when it comes to stuff like this. I like to do random, not random. I mean, it does actually tie to it, but I'm curious if you guys can figure out why I've chosen these colors and why I've chosen this name for the team name. And if you guys can't figure it out by the end of the stream, let me know and I'll try to. Wow, got it in one. Dang, that just took the... I thought I was being clever. Oh, good job, None Superior. Yeah, that is exactly right. It is from the old Atari adventure game. Dang it. I thought I was being clever. One guess was all it took. Well, hats off to you, None Superior. That was very, very good. For those of you who haven't played it, wait, I wonder if I can... Yeah, I think I can play it here, actually. Oh, hold on. No, not here. There should be it's Flash, I think? And I should be able to... I forget how to do it! Game select. No. Game reset. Here we go. So, way back on the Atari 2600, right? 2600 was a game called Adventure, and it was just this little dot. I should move the cursor because that takes up half the screen. It was just this little dot. You pick up stuff, and you go around trying to do things, basically. Ah, crap. Wait, I don't remember if the dragons follow you or not. Oh, no! Ah. Aha! Ah, go away. Oh. Oh, right, this is the key to the Black Castle. I forgot. Ah, these are dragons, by the way. Ah! Ah! Come on. Aha! Ah! Now I killed the dragons. Okay. So you can kill the dragons with a sword. The magnet will attract swords, or will attract items. Okay. Anyway, enough of the history lesson. The colors I actually used are the major castles in the game. Yeah, totally not ducks. They're completely dragons, definitely. But that's actually why the colors are what they are. The colors are white, yellow, and black after the white, yellow, and black castles in Adventure. And it's called Advent because... let me go back to Unity. Because the original Colossal Cave Adventure also went under the name Advent. Sign language, you seem to be very, very detail-oriented? What do you mean? Oh, yeah. 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 All nice trivia, or all fun Easter eggs that I like to stick in there. So when you type in Zork, it'll say @your, and then it'll catch itself, be like, wait, that's not right. This isn't Zork. But yeah, so congratulations, None Superior. You got the gold award. Guessed it. But yeah, that was way more effort into the logo than needed to go. I actually spent, I think, an entire evening on it, being like, how clever can I be when coming up with names? Let's see. So, the next thing I would have to do is refactor my entire save system, which I don't really want to do. So, okay, I think we might call it a night. Just because we did what we wanted to do. We got textures rendering out at different resolutions now, based on what the player wants. and we have the interface to back it up. So I probably won't stream tomorrow, but we'll be back to streaming again on Monday, doing more modeling stuff to try and finish out the adventure. Is there a note? That's right. Well, I think that's because adventure is a noun. It's a common enough noun that I couldn't just make adventure an Easter egg, because adventure might be used later on as a puzzle or something. So it's kind of a careful balance between Easter eggs and possible puzzle solutions or uses. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it a night. Just because I've got some email stuff to figure out, and hopefully I'll be able to get that sorted out, because that's kind of important. And I need to set up a form, and I need to set up resume stuff and other etc. stuff, because there's a bunch of things that I'm doing now. But yeah, that'll be it. So Monday we'll resume our modeling stuff, and oh, sorry, Scorpion Illuminati. It's the rest of the next things that I would have to do are kind of boring, or they're very, very long, and I don't want to have like a 10-hour dev stream tonight. Just because I do have 10 other things that I have to do besides the game, unfortunately. As much as I would love to just work on my game, I have graduate school responsibilities that I need to do. But yeah, the streaming schedule is on the site, or is on the page. So be sure to come back to our next one, because we're always this much fun. And I'll have to find a different bit of trivia to stump you guys, I guess. But I think that'll do it for tonight. So as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.